Well, disappointing back here on the door. I've got a lot of small dents right there. I thought I had that door pretty good. I do as far as up and down. I've got a little tiny gap here and a big one here. Plus the door setting in. Good 1/8 of an inch. I can fix the striker and get that. But I'm going to have to do something about this door. Looked good whenever I was doing it without direct light, but sitting here with the sun on it is really disappointing. So I'm going to go ahead and get back in there and take my bolts loose and try to adjust this door. I adjusted the other one and I didn't really get any video of that, so I'll try to get you some video here of how we actually do adjust the door. Alright, now this door is going to have to go to the outside, so I've got 3 bolts on the hinge on top and bottom. This will actually let the door move on the hinge, so what I've got to do is loosen these bolts up, move the door that way, and then I'm going to have to loosen up my striker here so when it's closed it'll be even with the outside. So these are 9/16, so I need a 9/16 socket and ratchet. I'm gonna scratch these where I can tell where they were and try to move them, and then once I get them moved, then I can try to adjust that fender again. Yeah, definitely, and the door's got to go back, and that would be from the outside here. I don't know if I can get to this top bolt up in here because all this dash. I've looked up in there and there's really not much room to get anything. I found that I had to pull the emergency brake out. Anyway, I'm going to try to at least get the door moved towards the outside first. Alright, first thing I did, I loosened this bottom one. I've loosened 2 of the top ones. So I should be able to move the door. I think I can probably put a pry bar under it here a little bit. Try to get the bottom one first, and then I'll tighten one bolt here on the bottom and loosen the top, and then I can twist it out at the top. We'll see what it looks like. Alright, I've got like an 1/8 of an inch here. It's got to come out, and probably about the same up here on the top. Get a pry bar and see if I can move it. Well, pry bar didn't do anything. So the next thing that I'm gonna do, I was trying to pry in right down here in the bottom. It looks like it'll bend the lip before it moves this door. So next thing is to put a hammer in here and try to Try to get this door to move towards the outside. I could probably put a block of wood right in this area and hit it with a big hammer. Maybe that'll move it a little. Alright, I put a block of wood against the bolts here. Give them a pretty good whack, and it looks like it moved. And then I tightened this middle one up. Yeah, it come out pretty close here on the bottom, and I'm still in 1/8 of an inch here. So I'm going to do the same thing with this top one. I've got these bolts loosened up. I'm just going to put a block of wood in there again and give it a whack with a big hammer. Have to get a tripod here. Maybe you can see this. Gave it a couple whacks. Didn't really do too much. My next thing is to put a piece of wood or something here inside the door. Try to close it and move it out. I have to loosen it up. Try it again. Well, I did the best I could. It's at the maximum of its adjustment right now. So I've got it pretty flat on this lower part, and it's matching fairly good right here. This Fender, of course, I can still kind of move it around a little. And I've got the, it's a little low right now. I probably need to loosen those up again. But I've got a big old gap here. This is 3/8 of an inch or more. It's close at the bottom. So looks like now the door's got to go back. And to get it to go back, I'm going to have to take these bolts loose on this side, mounting it to the body. And like I say, I don't know if I can get to that one up in there. I can get to my Fender bolt here and fix it. And I know once I pull this panel back off again, I can get in there to those bolts. So as far as going towards the outside of the car, I didn't get much. Looks like maybe a 1/16 of an inch there. And the rest of it, I'm going to have to try to get this back door gap straight, and then I'll have to adjust the fender to match the door. Round and around on these things. Alright, we got an inspection plate that covers it up here. Got a couple screws on it. And you can get to the 3 hinge bolts, which I've loosened up. And that should let our door twist. I'm gonna put just a little lubricant in here. If I pull up on the back of this door, let me see if I can, it should move that hinge. Well, just my force is not doing it. probably what I'll do is put a hydraulic jack and a board under here. For right now, I'm just going to try to do it by hand and see what kind of results I get. Alright, what I'm doing here is I've got a 2x6. I'm putting this under here so I hit the flat part of the door. And I'm jacking it up. And I heard it move there. And it looks like it lifted a little here. So what I'm going to do now is let it down and see if it'll hold what I got. Looks like I'm maybe 1/4 of an inch high. Now I just carefully open the door and tighten up one of these bolts. That'll keep that bottom hinge from moving. Well, it's level again, but I still got to get the door back. Didn't really accomplish much there. And it looks like the front of it is still just come out still. The bottom is still good. It looks like the whole door did raise up a little, but I don't need to raise it up. Actually, what I need to do is lower this I have trouble with my top hinge, so I've got to raise this up way past where it needs to go, and then tighten the bottom and try to push it down. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll loosen this bottom up again. I just need these bolts just a little snug so the hinge can move back. Back to the same deal we was trying to do before. Like 1/8 of an inch low. So I'm going to try to lift this up as much as I can. You got to be careful because the door wants to open up. You gotta get your boards on there, right? Don't get it just right, it'll want to open or close the door. Put it off the rubber. There we go. Probably 2 inches high now. Let's see, let it down a little. Slowly. And then see if I can tighten this up again. Yeah, that hinge goes a long ways. Snug it up again. Alright. and then we can see what kind of result we got on the door. It's up an eighth, and you can see the bottom. Really, tripod's a little crooked. Bottom is closed up a little, and up here in this part it opened up a little on the bottom, and I'm a little high, so what I'm going to try to do now is this front part. I'm going to tighten the bottom and try just using my weight and see if I can get this top hinge to slide. I don't think I can get to it. I'll have to see if I can get in there first. Alright, I couldn't get to those top bolts in there. I have to take the dash out, and I'm not going to do that. So what I'm going to do is fix this stuff. I've got it I've got the hinge where it's perfectly level. The striker is moving that up a little, so I can adjust that striker down. And in this section here, I've got the fender loosened in the bottom, or in the middle. So I've got to get this fender forward to fix my door gap here, and anything that opens up too much in here I'll have to fix this with Bondo. So basically at this point, without taking that dash out of there, this is kind of the door gap I got. It's not that bad. And on the bottom of this is pretty good. This is what the other side looks like. Well, this one's pretty good. It's like 3/16. And this one, of course, I adjusted this with Bondo on the fender. And I've got it straight here. I'm going to fill this up a little. I'm good at the top and the bottom. And at the splash panel down on the bottom, I'm going to have to adjust this fender in a little. And this is, well, that don't look too bad actually. So it looks like this is as good as I can get on this door. I mean, without taking out the dash. But this does show you how to get to those bolts inside. And so the next thing I'm going to do is adjust the striker in here and get it to where it, when it latches, it should go right there. It's going in quite a bit too far. So the trick I found with these strikers is you have to use a big crescent to loosen them on this plate here. I'll get it set up and see if I can show you that. Now, I don't know how big this striker washer is. It says at least 1.125". And you just break it loose. Once it's loose, then you can knock it around. So I need to come out away from the body. Alright, I've moved it 1/16 of an inch. There's an 1/8. The reason I'm saying that is because I can see the paint, how far I'm moving it. We'll just tighten it up here. That should be good enough to check what we got. Well, it's a little better, but it's still got to come out quite a bit. So I'll loosen it up again. Try to knock it out again. Oh man, that's a lot. That's a 1/4 of an inch. You can see on the old paint how far it moved. Alright, that's pretty straight, pretty tight. Yeah. So actually what I want is when it's pulling on the outside of the striker, because it'll have rubber in here, this has to be perfectly flat. And we're real close. It looks like it's off like maybe a 1/16 of an inch here. I thought I moved it too far. So loosen it up again. Put it in about a 1/16. Tighten it once more. I'm sure there's a special tool for this. I don't have it, but somebody probably does. Got a big wrench, crescent parts. Alright. Now I've got the, you can see here, this is flush when you pull out on it. It'll still go in more, but we don't really care about that. Rubber's going to be pushing this door out. Pretty good. Might be a little bit too far. The door might be just a little tweaked in, but I've already adjusted this as much as I can. Anything else that's in here, I'm going to try to fix with Bondo. It won't be taking too much. Mostly some here on the top. I can't really do it on the door, but I can fill this part up and not so much down there on the bottom. So that's where the door is going to go. So I have to move this fender forward a little on the top. So that's what I'll do, is get up in there and move the hood or the fender. Alright, I got my fender loosened up. I'm just putting a pry bar in here. Put a kink in my door. Trying to do two things here. Or it looks like two things is happening. One, the fender is going in, and it's also taking it forward. Got my bolt up here on the fender. I'll tighten it up while I'm holding that. There we go. That's a pretty nice gap. Tighten another fender bolt. So that gave me a pretty good gap right there. It's pretty straight all the way up and down. Anything else I can fix. Door, of course, here is still the same way it was, but that's pretty good, and it's a lot closer than it was up here in this top part. Now it looks like the bottom is out. So what I'm going to do is the same thing again. Trying to put a little pressure on this fender. Find my bolt first. Here's the lower bolt. Sort of snugged it a little. Try to pry it in and give it a good tighten. Okay, that's pretty good. So now I've got one inside fender bolt inside of here. So what I'm going to do is open the door. I can't get to the bolt. So what I need to do is put some kind of pressure on this fender right here, and then tighten this fender from the inside. So I'll see if I can find me some kind of a board or something to hold this to where I go around to the other side and tighten it. Now this is a pretty funky setup. I've got the pry bar with a bungee cord holding it. And now I'll go around to the other side. All right. Now, take off my outfit here. That's pretty good. And within probably a 1/16 of an inch. Still sticking out a little, but it's not bad at all. rubber hammer here. Nope, ain't doing it. Now I'll just try to bend it with the door. Trying to make an even bend. And the bottom is doing pretty good. Yeah, we're pretty straight all the way up and down. This looks pretty straight. The only thing that doesn't look too good is this top part right here. But trying to get this sorted out with a Fender, if I build it up to this, that'll be alright. And this body line's not too bad. But anyway, here's the door kind of straight. All I have left here to do is fill this gap. It's in straight, it's flush. And really all I've got to do is work on this top part here a little. Might be able to knock this top of the fender down. And next thing would be to recheck this hood line. Well, that created another problem. I've moved the fender in to be flush with the door, and I'm back into hitting my hood. And I've already tried moving that hood. It needs to go over in the back. So I'll try this again. Try to get that hood over. I'm thinking that maybe what I ought to do is put some spacers on these lower washers in there. But the hood and the fender and the door are good. It'll be a lot less filling this up and getting it straight. Is going to be a lot less trouble than having to be able to get the hood gap working and then 1/4 inch of Bondo on top of the door. So solution here is to try to get this hood over. Well, we kind of fought with this a couple hours. I'll get it pretty straight here. The problem is that if you get the hood straight, it wants to overlap. Now this one, I've got it where this back gap is pretty good. It's way too high right here. This one is fairly straight, and I've still got pretty straight here on the door. My gap is a little crooked in the back. It's got to go down over there. It's got to go down quite a bit. And if you put a shim in the back, it raises it. If you put a shim in the front, it lowers it. Problem is I got strip bolts in here. So I just don't have any room to play. I've got this as kind of the average best I can get it. Well, I worked on this hood here. It's too high. I just took a 2x4 and a big hammer and kind of knocked the edge down. I'm pretty close to where it should be, and I haven't really altered this too much. This side here is still good, so it looks like I can beat on it a little more. Just try to curve this edge down. Anything else that's left I can get in under the fender and either shim it up a little bit or something, but looks like I'm having some success in getting this hood to come down to meet the fender. It's not going to be a ideal job, but I'm trying to do it the best I can. Well, hammer a little more right in this area. Let's see what happens. It's mostly right here. Oh, that's pretty good. Flush here, a little high there. I definitely put some dents in it. Yeah, there's quite a few in there. You just have to straighten that out with body filler, and it feels like it's close enough to a little high all the way. I'll have to raise that fender up just a bit, and I think I'll be good here. And this side, it's a little high too, but that's fine. So it's pretty straight, and I've got a fairly decent gap in here. My door gap's still good, and this part here is not too bad. The only big problem I got's right here on this lip, and this one's alright, good enough. I may have to do some kind of bending and tweaking in that area right there. Anyway, started off with trying to fix some door bondo. Wound up messing around here completely to get the hood on straight again. Well, we got to the end of another day. This all pretty good. Straight. I sent it with a board sander there. It's flat. This little place I thought in here was a little low. Turned out I had to thin skin it quite a bit. I still have to adjust this fender to the hood, but the gap is straight. This nose piece is straight. This one is still, gap is too small over here. I'm going to have to do something with this fender. I could probably cut it, move it in a little bit, but this gap is straight. The hood's passable, not quite the same. It's a little bigger on the far side, but I can deal with that. And this piece right here, I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. Spent a lot of time getting that on there. Maybe I can rotate this piece here in the front up and remold the fender. And this door line here, I got it real good. It's all bonded up down in there. And flush with the car. So the door is in good shape. I worked a little more on some of this. I found this little, I had a kink in this. I took some more of that out. I saw this morning that this is not quite straight. Looks like it's low right there in the middle. This one here I patched up. It had some little dents in it. But this body work takes a long time. You know, you get it the best you can, prime it, see your mistakes, go back, do it again. I hope this video's been interesting to you. I try to keep it a little shorter. But if you like this, I really appreciate it if you would hit the like button and subscribe. You know, I'm still trying to get subscribers, and it's kind of a small niche, these old race cars. Especially, I get very rare ones. It's 68 AMX, so probably AMX and Javelin guys might be interested in it. But as far as body work, there's probably a million guys out there that does good body work, and I'm trying to show you what some of the problems are, and hopefully you pick up some kind of solutions to this stuff. So please like and subscribe and leave me a comment. If I'll answer everybody that I can answer. If you got some questions, maybe sometimes like you couldn't tell how I got the emergency brake out or something like that, or why did I do this or why did I do that. This all about communication on these love of hot rods. So I guess that's going to do it for this video. Thanks a lot. See you guys later. Have a nice day.